What up, YouTube? Knowledge is self-determination. So, despite what you guys are seeing on the screen, this is a boxing video. Now, I'm gonna just go ahead and get right into it. And I'm mentioning this guy's name because I want you guys to understand where I'm coming from, and I'm trying to paint a picture here. Oscar De La Hoya of Golden Girl Promotions has been trashing the Conor McGregor-Floyd Mayweather fight ever since its inception, ever since it was talked about, and people started taking it seriously. He even wrote a fucking dissertation about people needing to boycott this fight. Now, I'm not surprised that Oscar De La Hoya has gone that route because Oscar De La Hoya has put himself up as less than a man for quite some time, you know. Now, me as a man, there are certain things that I am not going to do as a man because my integrity just won't allow it. One, I don't stand behind any man who's less of a man than me. First and foremost, if you're less of a man than me, if you're dumber than me, there's no reason for me to stand with you, stand behind you, or co-sign anything that you say. First and foremost, you know, I'm a solo flyer anyway. I don't need the backing of anybody in order for me to get along and do me. I travel by myself. I go everywhere by myself. I've lived in different states and I've left and gone through those places by myself. You know? So I have no problem of doing me whatsoever. Friend, foe, whoever, indifferent, doesn't make a difference. Now, I say Oscar De La Hoya is less of a man because real men aren't trannies. Sorry. You can't call yourself a real man to me, but dress up in women's clothing. And not just the clothing, but actually wear women's underwear. You can't call yourself a real man to me and have me be convinced that you are. I don't give a fuck how well you can fight. You're still not a real man. Plain and simple. Meerkats can fight. That don't make them men. You are a coke fiend. You're basically a crack addict. Chemically, crack and coke are the same thing. One, you use baking powder and you cook it up. The other one, it gets processed, refined, and you take it as is. You have had children out of wedlock. You've cheated on your wife and have had children with women that you've cheated on your wife with. You are a pedophile. You have had sex with underage women, underage teenage girls. They may not be teenage girls anymore at this day and age, but they were when you had sex with them. That makes you a pedophile. And you've paid them off, paid them hush money. You take the lives of other people and put them in your hands by getting drunk and then stepping into your vehicle. You know how many people you could murder with a car? How much damage you can cause? How many lives you can ruin? I wouldn't follow a man like that. And as those of you who keep up with boxing know, Oscar De La Hoya has lost respect from a number of promoters, and he's lost a huge portion of his stable. Fighters have left his promotional company because of his antics outside of boxing, because of the things that he does outside of boxing. That's why Canelo is the flagship for Golden Boy. Canelo is keeping Golden Boy afloat. And anybody who signs with Golden Boy, even after all the scandals, I gotta say, you're a pussy too, because you're following a man who is less of a man, but you claim yourself to be a real man. There are tons of other promotional companies you could sign with, but you want to sign with the cross-dressing, coke-sniffing pedophile. Fuck you very much. Then we have Bernard Hopkins, who has put himself up as a real man. But yet, you're such a real man that you follow behind Oscar De La Hoya. He is your employee, your employer, because it's called Golden Boy Promotions. It's not called, you know what I'm saying, Executioner Promotions. You're his employee. And now you're co-signing his sentiments, his thoughts about the Mayweather-McGregor fight. You're co-signing that. You're not even coming up with an original thought of your own. Now you're talking. When the racist emails came out referring to your brother Al Heyman as the N-word, You were quiet. You were quiet. But now you want to jump on the bandwagon with Oscar and bash the Mayweather-McGregor fight. Right? You get no respect from me. Canelo has said that, oh, this isn't a real fight. You know, I'm not interested in fights like this. I want to watch real fights. You know, this fight is going to ruin my sport. It's going to ruin boxing. I'm only interested in real fights. Liam Smith, y'all pulled the rabbit out of the fucking hat. Y'all pulled Liam Smith out your asses because nobody knew who the fuck Liam Smith was before. Nobody in America knew who Liam Smith was before Canelo decided to fight him. And he got stopped. He hadn't fought anybody on the level of a Canelo. But Canelo went to 154 to fight him to take his belt. A belt that he won't even defend at 154. He fought James Kirkland and made it a point, or his team made it a point to say that, to have James Kirkland come into that fight without Ann Wolfe. Because with Ann Wolfe, James Kirkland is undefeated. Every time James Kirkland fights without Ann Wolfe, he gets beat. That was some real man shit, right? Fuck out of here. You fought Amir Khan, a guy who at the time you pulled him up to 155 to fight, had only 3 fights at welterweight, moving up from 140 to 147. He only had 3 fights at 147. You pulled him up, a guy who was known to be chinny, and flatlined his ass with 1 punch. But you want to see the best fights. You want to see real fights. You beating up on smaller men is a better fight than Floyd fighting a bigger man from a completely different fighting organization. A completely different discipline. Let's see. What about the Triple G situation? You beat Cotto. Before you even fought Cotto, you knew that Triple G would be your mandatory. You beat him. You get the belt. Then you drop the belt because you don't want to be held up to any artificial deadlines. Bullshit. I call bullshit on that. I call bullshit. The fucking Chavez Jr. fight was horrible. A horrible fucking fight. Y'all weight drained the fuck out of Chavez Jr. He was literally a shadow of his former self. He was a shadow. And then on top of that, you couldn't beat a drained, malnourished, weakened Chavez Jr. You couldn't even knock his ass out. But you think you're going to get in there with Triple G and knock him out. But aside from that, but you like real fights. The Chavez Jr. fight didn't turn people off to you, because it sure as the fuck turned me off to you, and I think Canelo's a hell of a fighter. But why the fuck do I want to see him fight weight-drained opponents? Chavez Jr. was so weight-drained in that fight, he couldn't even fucking throw a punch. He was so weak, he couldn't even throw a punch. All he could do was rely on his block-ass head to absorb the punishment that he was taking. That's all he could do. But for some reason, the Mayweather fight, the Mayweather-Canelo fight, Mayweather-McGregor fight, is ruining boxing. You're going to take Oscar's lead on this? Canelo prides himself on being a real man, but you're following a dude who wears fucking miniskirts. I don't even have to say the word that's on the screen or the usage of the word because it's there for you guys to read at any time. I don't even have to say it. I don't even have to reiterate what this video was about. You guys, listen carefully to the shit that these dudes say. And these motherfuckers aren't even trying to backpedal. They're literally banking on the fact, they're literally banking on you having a short memory. That's what they're banking on. Because they don't have respect for the boxing community. This is why they do the shit that they do. And then, look. Yes, this is an exhibition fight under boxing rules. This isn't a sanctioned fight. Floyd isn't fighting Conor McGregor for a title. None of the sanctioning bodies, have authorized this fight. The boxing commission authorized the fight and said it's a go. But they're not fighting for the WBA, the WBC, the IBF, the IBO, fucking ABC, CIA. They're not fighting for any of these other motherfucking ABC organizations that I'm aware of. If I'm wrong, please correct me. So how does this fight ruin boxing when Mayweather is going to take the time, actually have fighters that he promotes, actually have sanctioned fights on that card. So he's promoting his fighters. He's giving them airplay. You know what I'm saying? And the fighters that they're gonna face. Everybody's gonna get paid. All these fighters are gonna get airtime. People are gonna be able to see them in action. You know what I'm saying? Which is gonna put them on the map possibly, especially the casual fans. This is going to be an opportunity for MMA fighters to actually MMA fighters who probably don't watch boxing to actually see boxing and possibly gain a little bit of respect for boxing and say, I might actually start watching this. Brilliant move by Floyd. A brilliant move by Floyd and by Conor. You got to give both parties their props on this. Oscar De La Hoya is mad because he's not getting a piece of this shit. That's why he's upset. Like a girl, he's mad because nobody's paying attention to his ass. Like a girl. And we all know how females are. You don't pay them any attention, they lose their fucking minds. Oscar De La Hoya is coming off to me as a soft-ass, fucking soft-baked Toll House cookie-ass, skirt-wearing ass beta male. That's what he's making himself out to be. A crybaby bitch. And if you follow him, you co-sign the things that he says, and you parrot the words that he says, and you defend his sentiments, then you too are a crybaby bitch. Bernard Hopkins and Canelo Alvarez. Two people, in spite of Oscar De La Hoya's his deplorable behavior, I still has a certain amount of respect for these two. Just a little. When Bernard Hopkins said nothing about the emails, I lost that respect. I hadn't even spoken on it. This is the first time I'm actually speaking on this. Because now, it's one thing to remain silent, but then you open your mouth, and the first things that you say are hypocritical things that you're parroting from a cross-dresser who likes to take dildos up his ass. You've lost my respect, bro. You're a Philly dude, and I love Philly. You know what I'm saying? Love Philly. I had quite a few Philly homeboys. They're from Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? Me and my people used to go to Philly and chill. We used to just drive up to Philly just to get cheesesteaks and chill in downtown Philly, South Street. You know what I'm saying? And just hang out and just have fun. I love Philly. But you, nah, man, you are a shadow of you are a shadow of your former self. And Canelo, you claim to be a real man, but you're allowing yourself to be led around by the collar by a cross-dressing, coke-sniffing, drunk pedophile. Man, get y'all motherfucking minds right, man.